Hi everyone, it's Ann V. I'm sure you knew that. It's only been, months since I have come out here with a video. And yes, this is an audio-based video, and yes, that is still probably how at least half of my videos will be. The time has rolled around to reflect on the past year and what the future might hold. And I've thought about doing a video like this, and I didn't know if I wanted to, because I was like, am I really promising to come back to YouTube? I don't know. But I thought I would at least come out and do a video. Like I said, kind of a reflection of 2025. 2025 has been a year of, well, I don't even know how to describe it. It was marked for me by two significant events. In late January, I finally found out what I really have wanted to know for the past, we always needed to know it. I suspected something might be going on other than what we knew probably when I was about 18. That's when I probably first suspected it. It took me until January of 2025 to finally see a doctor who knew how to recognize it for what it was and called it what it really is. In January of 2025, I finally found out, after 45 years of living and having damaging experiences, that I am on the autism spectrum. I have what used to be called Asperger's disorder. It's now called mild autism. It's still my secondary disability. My main disability, my primary disability, is that I'm blind. Totally blind. But I have so many quote-unquote problems, or so many limitations, or so many... I can't function the way people are supposed to function in so many ways that have nothing to do with the fact that I can't see. I finally now know that the reason for that is because I am autistic. There's probably hundreds of videos and hours worth of things that I could say about that, but let's just leave it at that for now. The other significant thing that happened this year happened in May. I lost the most beloved person in my life. My best friend, the man I called my father in heart, my non-biological father. I could do a whole separate storytime video about that too, but the lesson I came away from that with, and the one I want to share with everyone, is as soon as the word hospice comes up, I don't care how hopeful you want to be, as soon as hospice comes up, as soon as the word hospice comes up, that means make arrangements stat to do anything you want to do, because you don't know if you're looking at a couple of months or a couple of weeks or a couple of days. You don't have a crystal ball to look into the future. If we did, I might have known that from the time that he would tell me, my doctor has said that I need to be in hospice care, to the time that I would get the phone call from his friend who was standing at his bedside that said, you were planning to come see him in 2 days, and there's no longer anyone here to see. He's gone. He just now passed. Would only be 3 weeks, like 3.5 weeks. We didn't have a month. If I had known that, I would have worked faster, tried harder. I don't blame myself. I just know that it really would have been nice to see him one more time. And that was just not meant to be. But, like I said, the lesson here is, first of all, well, the first lesson is appreciate the time you have with the people that you love, and don't wait for the next opportunity to hug them, to kiss them, to spend time with them. The more you love them, the more you need to take the opportunities you have now, because you don't know how many that you'll have left. And I'm sorry to be bleak, you could have 40 more opportunities, or you could have 4. There's just no way of knowing. So seize every opportunity you can. And the secondary lesson is, if someone's ill, as soon as the word hospice comes up, even if they're not ill, if they say, I've got shocking news, I didn't think I was sick and I am, I've been diagnosed with this terminal illness, there's nothing they can do. I'm being recommended to go into hospice care. That means treat this like the last week, the last month, because you don't know if the person that just went into hospice is the next Jimmy Carter, who will live another year to another year and a half in hospice, or whether the person you're talking to that just went into hospice is the next my best friend, who, although no one could have told me like I really needed to be told, only had 3.5 weeks to live. And after losing him, well, things kind of went downhill. In July, I went to the doctor and learned that my own health is, well, I knew it wasn't the best for a long time, but there was a time when it was at least trending in the right direction. Now it's not. As of July, it was, the progress that I had made just was completely undone. And when I found that out, I identified pretty quickly, okay, I think I know what I did, and we need to cut that back big time. But then in October, I came back to the doctor hoping to at least have a little bit of an improvement, and there was no improvement. Some things were staying the same, others were worse. Not to mention another thing or two that was difficult to hear. It's been a tough year, but I'm not dead. I'm not dying. I still have a lot of living left to do, I believe. I don't know how much I'm going to talk about any of it on YouTube. I don't know how much I'm going to vlog it. I got this idea of vlogging, but will I really do a lot of vlogging? I don't know. Will I really do a lot of videos? I don't know. Part of what's going on is the perfect audio recorder. I don't know that I have it. I have a machine that's a phenomenal microphone. It's bulkier than maybe I'd like it to be for a recorder. I have a more ideal machine to stick in my pocket. It might be the one I end up using, even though, what's wrong with it? I'm trying to remember what's wrong with it. I have another machine that's more ideal to fit in my pocket that in some ways is better for something like a YouTube vlog, but it's not the ideal recorder. I mean, I've tried creating recordings on it before, and it little idiosyncrasies that it has, little things that might not matter to some people, but to a sound conscious person like me, it kind of does matter. And then I have a great recorder in every way but one. It makes good recordings, maybe not quite as good as the Braille Sense 6 recorder. That is just the microphone to beat all microphones. But it's nice and compact. It works, it does a great job. And you might be going, well, Ann, if that's such a good recorder, why don't you use it? Because theoretically, it has a USB thing that you can pull out and stick in the computer. The connection doesn't hold. Anything you stick it into, the connection doesn't hold. It keeps being in and out. Just, it doesn't work. And when you look at the memory card that's in this thing, this is not a regular sized SD card, which is what I prefer to use. This is a tiny ass micro SD card. It's not necessarily tiny in terms of how much memory it has in it, but it's tiny in terms of it's too easy to drop, it's too easy to stick in the wrong port, it's too easy to, like, micro SD cards are too small for my liking. So if I had the perfect little compact kick-ass microphone MP3 recorder that used a full-sized SD card, that would be my perfect vlogging camera. Quote-unquote camera. It's an MP3 recorder, and that's the kind of quote-unquote camera that I prefer to use most of the time. That either doesn't exist or I don't have one. So what do I do? I'm probably going to be recording using everything that I have. You know, sometimes my voice memos app on my phone, sometimes this Victor, sometimes the other kind of Victor. Probably not the really good Olympus recorders. I love the Olympus, but again, don't like to deal with the micro SD card. But I'm using these as excuses for not recording. And or I also think that maybe my life just isn't some vehicle backing up outside. Probably not even for me. That's what happens when you live in a building with a lot of people living in it. They're there to pick someone up or drop something off for someone. I don't know that I have that exciting of a life, or I don't have maybe ideas, or I don't, you know, I come up with all kinds of reasons to not record, so I just don't record. But it is possible that eventually I'll decide to get consistent with YouTube again, because it is a way to express myself. It is a way to... Is it a way to make money? Theoretically, but I don't know if it really ever will for me. You have to be a celebrity in order for your videos to make any kind of money. And even that, you maybe make a couple of pennies per video. It's just not... It's not the awesome career that it's made out to be. At least that's my perception of it. But maybe it's not about making money. Maybe it's about the blind and autistic weirdo who never functioned properly in the real world and just had all kinds of weird stuff going on, deserves to have her voice heard. And maybe there's a whole section of YouTube audience who would love to hear that voice. So maybe I could shine a light on that voice, if you will, and speak to things, speak to truths, speak to my experiences, speak to something. That's still possible. That's still something I might embrace and act on. Although, how am I going to make money is a very real question, because another thing that's happened in the past couple of months is I have chosen to leave the jobs that I had. One I've already left, the other I'm committed to doing this one project, but after that I'm likely to leave. For the same reason in both cases, what they really need in a person working in that department is not what I want to be. It's not what I like to do. It's not what I have a passion for, have an enjoyment for. And so I'm not going to force myself to keep doing what I don't want to do because other people want me to, or because that's the only way that they'll pay me. If that's the only thing that you'll pay me to do, then thank you so much for giving me a way out of a job that also needed to end for different reasons. But if you're not willing to pay me to do the things I like to do, then I need to find someone who is. And I also need to either acknowledge for myself or get a new sense of clarity about what the hell it is I really like to do, because, I mean, that's a question I've wrestled with down through the years. Honestly, now I think the bottom line is, maybe I know deep down what I like to do, but I've also been conditioned to believe, or convinced myself, or adopted the belief that those things that I really like to do either are not okay or will never make money. And maybe I'm right, or maybe it depends on who I ask. Maybe if I would feel comfortable sharing what I like to do with anyone and letting them like it or not like it, I might think they don't like it because that's been my experience in the past, but maybe they'll surprise me and they will like it. I know I'm a writer. Really, 99% of what I write is private writing, hobby writing that I wouldn't show anyone. Except I would have let my best friend in on it. And now that he's gone, there's no one. He would want me to find someone else to build that kind of relationship with. I don't know if I'm not ready yet, or if I'm not open to doing what has to be done, which is going out in community. But anyway, okay, I'm just rambling. Was there a point to this? I'm a writer. A lot of what I do is private writing. Sometime, eventually, I will figure out how to balance private writing and writing that is meant to be seen in the public eye. And maybe then we'll even figure out how to get my writing, how to turn my writing into some kind of moneymaker, because forcing myself to work at jobs that suck for me is never going to make me happy. But not working at all is not going to bring in a surplus of money. It's going to bring in just enough to survive on. So, what do? I think about what I need to do, what I want to do. If I can't do everything, what do I want to do more? And keep doing as much self-development work as I'm comfortable doing in a moment. The kind of self-development work that works for me, and eventually get to the point where I understand what does work for me and make it allow me to prosper. Did I just make any sense? I'm sure I made sense to one person. I know you're watching. There is one subscriber who I know in real life, and I know you're watching, and hi. And by the way, thanks to everyone who has subscribed. Shout out to another subscriber. I don't know you in real life, but I watch your channel. I've watched some of your lives. Are you going live tonight? No, you're going live tomorrow, you said. I might just watch. We don't know each other in real life, but I feel like I'm something of a friend to you because we like some of the same stuff. And thank you for subscribing. And I'm sorry that you subscribed and nothing happened, like you never saw anything. But hopefully as we enter 2026, I'll maybe come up with some video ideas or find some level of consistency on YouTube, because maybe that's like a thing that I can be doing, because I know there's a meaning to my life, and it's not sitting around doing nothing, or sitting around doing nothing of value. With my videos, I'm leaving some kind of legacy. Leaving a legacy. I'm 46, not 64 or 74 or 84. I don't believe I'm very close to death yet. My best friend and non-biological father may have run out of time, but I believe that my time is not that short. The question is, what am I supposed to spend it doing? Unfortunately, I wasted a big chunk of it in environments that I was not meant to prosper in. But this is a new year and a new, chapter of the rest of my life. And unfortunately, I can't rewrite my past, but I can completely write a new future. Yes, I'm still blind. Yes, I'm still autistic. Yes, it still took fucking 45 years to figure out that I was autistic. And it's taken me another 10 months to get that to sink in. And I'm still not sure. I mean, I embraced that from the first day I got the diagnosis. But I never really knew what that meant. And I'm still not sure I know exactly what it means. Self-discovery is probably a lifelong process, or a years-long process. I've been at it for 5 years now, and I'm still in it. But eventually, I'll figure out what's right for me and develop a pride for it and a confidence in it and an acceptance of it, and I'll learn how to embrace it. And I'll be as good with myself as whatever I am, an author, whatever else, as my one subscriber is with herself being an astrologist. Yeah, I'm quote unquote calling you out because you finally figured your thing out, and good for you, and I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. Will it happen in 2026? Will it happen in another year? I don't know, but here's to getting closer, if not getting there, in 2026. Okay, I have been recording for 30 minutes. No, I haven't. I've been recording. Yes, I have. I've been recording for 30 minutes now. I'm going to wrap this up. Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you in the next video. I'm going to turn this off, and one of the now 3 things I need to do between now and the end of today, although if it doesn't get done by then what difference does it make, is to edit this and try to put it up as a video. Bye.